John Sweeney, according to Fidelity's Family and Finance study, 4 in 10 families disagree on the roles children should play in their parents' finances as their parents age. So I guess what we have here is a failure to communicate.
That's exactly right, failure to communicate. What we found is when we looked at the aging parents, 93% of them said, I want to remain financially independent. However, a quarter of adult children expected that they would be subsidizing their parents' retirement in some way. So there's a disconnect there. The parents are probably better off than they let their kids understand, and it's a bit of, they don't want to share the balance sheet with their adult children.
And I guess, is it because that money just is a taboo subject? Is that the problem why they're not talking?
Still, I mean, but you also have the dynamics between parents who are reluctant to recognize that their adult children are now adults, and perhaps they can learn something from their adult children. The adult children actually want to step in and be helpful. They want to financially support their parents because they recognize they got a lot of support when they were growing up, and perhaps they can give back, they're financially able to, and whether that's just a contribution financially, whether that's care, come by, fix a few meals and take care of them during the week, or actually have them move in with you.
Well, let's talk about care and long-term care because it's really expensive. According to the survey, 43% of the parents have not had conversations with their family about long-term care. This sounds a little bit scary to me.
Absolutely. So it's one of these issues that's challenging. I never want to admit my own frailty. I don't want to admit that I'm going to be unable to care for myself. Yet adult children are looking at their parents and recognizing that there's a decline in capability, whether it's mental capability, whether it's the ability to keep the house clean, pay the bills. They want to step in and they want to help their parents. Long-term care is a step, whether it's in-home or whether it's in a nursing home, that's really expensive to your point, and you got to figure out how to pay for it. It's a financial event as much as an emotional event.
The next thing I thought was pretty funny, almost, is that 69% of parents say they talked about their will with their kids, but 52% of the kids say they talked about it. So something's missing there.
Right, there's a disconnect in terms of the percentages. I suspect it's, I have a will, I'm not going to tell you what's in it. So the kids feel like, I don't really know what mom and dad's plans are, and they're probably not going to find out until after the parents pass away. That's too late, because inevitably there's some decision in the will that the parents have consciously made that's going to be debated by the kids if they don't understand the rationale behind why it was decided that way.
And the survey also talks about living expenses in retirement. This is going to cause fights, right?
Absolutely. So, when you think about the child who lives closest, the eldest child, it's often the eldest daughter who is responsible for the parents' care. Not because of any logical reason, but parents expect, 3/4 of parents expect that one of their children is going to play a primary role for one of those reasons. Only about 1/4 of the adult children recognize that they are the child who's been designated with that role.
And then one thing I found really interesting is that over 90% of the children who said they've had these discussions have had peace of mind. So it actually makes people feel better when you've discussed money with your parents, however awkward it is to get to the table.
You're exactly right. It's a challenging topic to get through. I'll tell you, when I had this conversation with my folks and my sisters, Mom came up to me at the end of the conversation and she hugged me. She said, I know that you kids are going to have Thanksgiving together, and this is not going to be a source of friction when we're gone. So that's a great peace of mind.
All right, well, it's a great survey. Thanks for coming on and talking about it, John.
Pleasure. Greg, great to see you.
And thank you for watching The Street.